I, Greg Fox,
I, Greg Fox,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the duties of
execute the duties of
District 5
District 5
County Council Member
County Council Member
for Howard County, Maryland,
for Howard County, Maryland,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of this state.
and the laws of this state.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening. First, I want to say that I'm extremely honored to have been reelected to my third and final 4, not 8-year term on the Howard County Council. These last 8 years have been an interesting journey for me. As most of you know, the newspaper always starts its reporting on my comments on controversial issues with, quote, however, lone Republican Greg Fox from Fulton says, I think you guys could have done that for me, end quote. This puts me in an odd position, an odd place as we work on those more controversial issues. However, the vast majority of the time, we are working together to tweak, modify, and compromise on the issues that impact and matter most to Howard County, from improving the openness and transparency of government to working on downtown Columbia's redevelopment plan and Meriwether Post Pavilion. But this journey actually didn't start 8 years ago, as some of you know, for me at least. It started 16 years ago in 1998 when I ran for county council the first time and lost, while my two friends, Alan Kittleman and Chris Murden, went on to win. This election brings everything full circle, as for the first time in those 16 years, the three of us will be working together. Chris remaining on as the head of IT, and as a result of the most important outcome to me personally in this last election, my mentor and one of my best friends, Alan Kittleman, will be there as our new county executive. I look forward to working with both of them, along with my 4 Democrat colleagues and the citizens of Howard County, in a collaborative effort as we build on what is great about Howard County while maintaining and being good stewards of what we have, and doing so in a way that respects the rights of the citizens and minimizes the financial impacts of our decisions. Now on to the thank yous. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my wife, Eileen. Thank you, Eileen. She has continued to support me in this role despite the time and commitment involved, not just for me, but for our entire family. I'd like to thank my children, Delaney and Dylan. As hard as this process is on the candidates and their spouses, I think the kids feel it most. My kids have been great, at least most of the time, as they embraced the campaign and participated in every way they could. Dylan and his friends were helping out at events, even wearing the Fox costume and putting up signs. And Delaney, she headed off this fall for her freshman year at the University of Georgia. However, before she left, she helped get up signs and get out bumper stickers, not for me, for Alan Kittleman, and was still reminding her college friends to vote absentee from down there in Athens on Facebook in every which way she could. By the way, did anybody catch the Georgia Tech-Georgia football game on Saturday? Go Jackets. I'd like to thank my parents, Dave and Cindy Fox, who have been there and supported me in everything I've ever done. And thank my extended family, Harvey and Naomi Kaplan, David and Bryna Dash, Ira and Julie Kaplan, Murray Kaplan, Joe and Roz Hoppenfeld, and my Aunt Karen and Uncle Don, all who have helped in so many ways. My aunt and uncle couldn't be here tonight as they are mourning the loss of my aunt's father, Bernie Fryman. Way up on the list of thank yous is the council office, and more specifically my council staff, Lisa Harold, and the woman most important to my success the past 8 years, other than my wife, my special assistant, Karen Knight. Thank you both. I'd like to thank my campaign staff, which outside of my family would just be my treasurer, Jeff Troll. Jeff, are you here? Okay, I did have a couple of guys that helped out with the big signs. Thank you, Randy, Tim, and Michael. I'd like to also thank the Republican Central Committee, Republican Club, Republican Women's Club, and the Republican elected officials for their support throughout this process. Oh yeah, and how about Misspent Youth and Lorenzo Ascoli, not only Maryland's top party band, but ours too. Thank you guys. Lastly, I'd like to thank one of the most important groups of people that were there for me with their time, money, and most importantly, their support and encouragement. My friends that are spread throughout District 5 and the rest of the county, especially those in the Fulton community, and even more so my current and former neighbors in Hunter Brook. Our friends, regardless of party or even interest in politics, have continued to give so much of themselves to allow this day and the past 8 years to become a reality. Thank you. Well, by now, most of this seems like Groundhog Day. Not much has changed since 4 years ago or 8 years ago. Although, speaking for myself, there continues to be a few more pounds and more than a few more gray hairs. I've also gained a niece in the past year with the welcoming into the world of Nora Dash, and who's at home, I assume sleeping. I have one of my nieces and a couple of my nephews out here. Thank you guys for being here since I missed you earlier. With that, I want to go back to 8 years ago. And then I spoke of the losses from both of our parties of probably the biggest icons of the time and probably still to this day. The Democrats losing Senator James Clark, while the Republicans lost the father of our local party, Senator Robert Kittleman. I mentioned that these two individuals understood the importance of their respective party and the need to fight for causes they believed in, yet still understand that we were all part of the same community and needed to work together for its common good. 8 years later, I believe that I still understand that principle, and while I remain in what some might think is the unenviable position of being the party of one, at least on the council still, I believe that I am privileged to have the opportunity to serve one of the greatest communities in the world, and it is my pleasure to accept the responsibilities and challenges that lie ahead. And despite the differences I occasionally have with my counterparts on the council, I have appreciated their insights and friendship. And even our new pledge, I look forward to working with him. We don't call him new guy. You have again chosen to put your faith in me, and I will continue to the best of my abilities to what I can to justify your faith. And again, thank you for this opportunity.